What is going on? I'm zmot. We're going to do some solos on some operation bases. Last time I did a few setup hits. You guys didn't want to see setup hits. So this time we're going to do all solos all the time. Same operation. Pencil neck. Let's get into pencil neck. We'll get it started. The operations will ramp up. Don't worry. We're going to be doing some massive attack. We're going to be doing some other stuff. This is all going to be unboosted. Now, Gambit is kind of like my first solo. Everyone gets their first solo on Gambit, maybe on TechCrunch, maybe on Dredge. Gambit is you just walk to the back and it's a super easy solo. So we're going to skip that. That would be the gimme to go with for sure if we wanted to cheat a little bit. Let's try to make things a little bit more difficult. Key, or Quay, hopefully you know how to pronounce that word. That's one of the most confusing words in the English language, I feel like. We either do key or Quay. I'm just almost tempted to call it Quay. Or barrier. Put your votes in now. Obviously, you can't vote. So we're going to do barrier just because it looks a little bit more difficult. Now, how we're going to do it is just super, super simple. And that is, we're going to do it in the most noob way possible. And that is the most easy way possible. There's no need to overcomplicate these things. I really, really can't stress enough how doing simple attacks, I find just makes things much, much easier. Obviously, this puts a little bit more emphasis on actually being able to control your troops. And as long as Everspark doesn't drop critters right about now, we should be good. That would have been awful had she have dropped critters because they would have triggered that laser and bad things would have happened. And why I'm using Everspark, I don't know. There's no reason whatsoever to be using Everspark right now. Whatsoever using Everspark. So now all we need to do is just clear these 4 buildings in here. And then hopefully we're not going to get shot by that mortar. If we do, bad things are going to happen. Then just run away. Now all we really need to do at this point is get into those 2 rocket launchers blind spots. And then this is a super easy free snipe. So as long as we don't get shot too many times by those rocket launchers, we should be okay. Then those critters up there are going to do us a bit of a favor, because what they're going to do is they're going to let us see exactly where the rocket launcher's range starts. So, see that line Everspark just crossed? That is where we want to know exactly when our troops are going to be in the danger zone. There's a, please, someone out there, realize that Reddit, or not Reddit, what am I talking about? Realize that Archer reference that just happened right there. Lana! Anyways, let's get into this little nice blind spot behind this rocket launcher. And now, all we really need to do is shock those snipers. What I see happen is people will actually come and shock the rocket launchers, which does not do any good for you. Or they'll mark the rocket launchers. You're far, far better off actually marking things that shoot you. Just like when I see people go attack shield generators when there's buildings nearby, focus on the things that shoot back. That is my only advice to you when planning your operation attack. Figure out what's going to shoot back and blow that stuff up. I mean, it's pretty simple when phrased that way, I think. Now, Everspark's going to go off on a little bit of a walkabout. Because we're using Universal Remote, you have to be really, really careful. As you saw when we were trying to get rid of those rocket launchers, she just walked off. And so we are now 1 for 1 on the solos. Now, what I'm going to do here is if there's no solos available or if there's no operation running on one of my accounts, I'm just going to pick the base that is down from the top. So on my first attack, obviously we started the up. On the third attack, I'm going to take the third from the top. That way people aren't rushing to get like the first attack, and this is totally random. I'm just going to show someone else's attack and walk through it if we have to do that. So now I'm going to switch to a slightly higher level account. We'll be back in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Okay, here we go. Let's start one more operation, the same as last time. Upper lip, moving up from level 5 to level 10 on the operation scale, I do believe. Let's start the op. Lots and lots of intel, thankfully, so that should be all good. Again, with the Quay. Please tell me that one of you thought that that was how that word is pronounced. If so, let me know if you speak English or English is a second language or what. Circuit board, I really, really do love circuit board. Maybe we'll do this one. I'm kind of tempted, to be honest. What we could do is we could hack that mortar right there and then come in here and get rid of all of these rockets. Or we could just try and burn through the core with one shock. So you get into this sort of area here, and you just keep throwing shocks at the rocket launchers and hope that you do enough damage. Probably a bad idea when it comes to low-level accounts, though. Let's have a look at Paradox. Paradox is one of those bases where if you get rid of the shock launcher, you can generally solo it with Grenadiers. That Doom Cannon is going to be a bit of a pain. I don't really like Paradox. You can go left and clear all these cells, and then get behind, clear that rocket launcher, and then there's machine guns and stuff. I don't like Paradox. I don't find it to be terribly fun, except for when you solo it with Grens. Then it's a fun base. Borderline, I don't recognize that I've ever even done this base. This is just going to be a straight-up core hit. This is not going to be a maneuvering kind of hit today, so I'm going to try and keep to the maneuvering hits for the low levels. Let's have a look at our friendly Quay. What have you got for the Quay? So the same thing, we can just park. So what I would do for this base is sit in the middle rocket launcher's blind spot and mark the shock launcher, and that way your troops don't take the rocket launchers first, they get rid of the shock launcher, and you're just in a happy little snuggle spot, as Miss Silly Merp would say. Let's do circuit board. I think that circuit board is going to be interesting and fun, and we'll go do that. And please do let me know in the comments which base you wanted me to do when you were like yelling at your phone or your computer or your TV or whatever it is, because I'm just picking based on what I want to do. If there's a base that you see and you're like, man, I wish he would have attacked that, please do let me know. What I'm going to do is here, I'm going to drop Everspark, push the button, and then flare that mortar. And we're not going to use any smokes. We're just going to watch the mortars shoot over her head, hopefully. And then we're hopefully also going to hack that mortar, and those boom cannons are going to take it out, and everything is going to be hunky-dory. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark probably... Man, my audio is cutting out. Please do let me know if you're seeing the audio cut out on my side or not, because I really need to go back and check, because that's been bothering me a couple times now. And now all we need to do is clear all of those 6 rocket launchers, and then we should be in a happy, fun spot. I mean, I'm going to shock them, but I don't really know if I actually have to shock them. We're going to walk right to about there, and if I was smart, I would have paid attention to where Everspark started getting shot at, but I totally botched that. But the fact that we didn't use any smokes for Everspark means that our smokes are still nice and cheap. There's a joke there about how expensive cigarettes are in Canada, but I'm not going to make it because I don't smoke them. Let's get into here. And now, hopefully, we're going to be in everything's blind spot, but instead of shocking all 6 rocket launchers, we're going to shock 3 rocket launchers and a boom cannon. That way we should be just in a nice little happy, fun spot. Should probably lose 0 troops on this attack. We'll find out in a second if I can do that or not. And that is where using Everspark and then dropping the troops comes in super handy. I gotta say, I really do wish that I would see more players split their boats. Whether it means drop Everspark and then drop your Zookas, or drop like 1 Zooka over here, go farm a bunch of these cells, and then come back and attack the core. I find that with low-level players, the biggest mistake they make is they just kind of like drop all their troops at once in a blind panic, and then something goes wrong and their complete attack is a failure. So if you're a low-level, like if you're XP 37 and you have Everspark's Universal Remote, look for something you can get rid of with a hack and then use your troops. And I think your attacks will get far better. So we're 2 for 2 on solos, doing pretty well so far. I'm going to switch accounts. We'll get slightly higher up, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, in case you're wondering, I am actually doing this live. Like, these are all back to back to back. There's no pausing the video. There's no internet magic. These are all back to back to back to back to back to back. Now, this operation is... Now, no one has attacked Excel yet. And look at that. 3, 4, 3. Maybe this is a sign. I feel like doing key is optional here. Like, that rocket launcher... I would probably hack these 2 rocket launchers, because that's what I like to do. Hack the rocket launchers, then walk all the way wide, farm some cells, farm some more stuff, and then clear from 12. But I like to do these things a little bit different. Like, obviously, we could park right behind this rocket launcher and then just shock this stuff and hit the core. That doesn't really appeal to me nearly as much. So we're going to go for Excel here. And wow, I can see why Excel is still on the board. Holy moly. So all of these rocket launchers are protecting most of these cells. Typically I like to hack these 2 rocket launchers. I think I need to boost for this. Like, there's just so much at play here. All these boom lines up here. Or I just need to do a straight up core hit and do like 1, 2, 3, 4 shocks, I think. Probably. But even to do 4 shocks, that's 56 GBE, I do believe. And we're going to have at least probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smokes, I'm guessing. Maybe even 7. So it's going to be very, very tight. Let's just have a look here. So we're going to go 1. I need at least, let's just make sure that I can, what I like to do for this, quick little tip here. You probably already know this, but I'm going to use probably, I'm going to have to go side, then I'm going to have to go forwards, then I'm going to have to flare the core, and in the process I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smokes probably, and then 4 shocks, and we're going to have to use the battle orders. So I think I have exactly enough GBE, except for the fact that we need to clear some mines. So what I'm going to do here is just see if I have to clear, if there's any way to get there without clearing mines, because if I do have to clear mines, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. So if you're ever not sure about your operation attack, either watch the person who attacked before you, or just try and calculate. What I'm going to do here is we're just going to do this. I don't know. I think I can avoid having to shock those far rocket launchers. These mortars are going to be a problem. So if I do a perfect shock on here, which I'm probably going to miss, you know what? Let's just do that. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then these mortars are going to be a problem. So, gross. Okay, so here it goes. We're just going to give it a shot and hope that I don't totally screw it up, because if I do, I'm going to be very sad. But keeping to the unboosted theme, let's just do this and see what happens. We're going to save a little bit of GBE right about here, because I'm going to do it without using a flare. So I'm going to wait for my troops to get all up to those flags. If you're not used to using flag drops, please do give them a shot, because flag drops work so well. You can use your flags to get your troops exactly where you want them. Now, I am going to keep the delay here. Keeping the delay is going to be critically important, and the fact that I just said the word delay typically means I'm going to lose it, but I think we're looking okay. So now I'm going to shock nice and early. 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think. Oh, I totally missed it. Yep. There goes that medkit, hopefully saving us, but probably not. So I tried for the fancy shock, and like I said, I missed the shock. So not super awesome. Epic failure. I'm very curious to I always miss that 4x4 or 4x2 shock. It's like a Lego piece. We call it like the Lego shock almost. You know what I'm talking about. 4x2 Lego piece. Come on. Anyways, there it is. Missed that shock. Probably should have done the safe shock and done 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and then just left the mortars to pick off the edges. Let me know which shock you would have done on that attack. Only really had to worry about that one mortar, which would have probably been a far safer bet, but a bit of a failure there. Anyways, I'll be back in just a jiffy. We'll upgrade to a higher level account, playing a higher level operation, and you guys make sure you let me know what shock you would have done. I'll be back just a jiffy. Okay, so far we've said just a jiffy, back in a shake of a lamb's tail, and back in a second. If you have anything else to add to my repertoire, I would love to hear it, because there are only so many dadisms that I am aware of, and they need to be extended. So on this, we're playing Choke Point. I have not attacked yet. That is good. We got Javanese. I like Javanese a lot. That Doom Cannon at shore is a bit of a pain. Mortars over there, also a bit of a pain, but there's no difficult shock over here. And this shock, where there's shock launchers here, I can hit almost every time for whatever reason. I don't know what that is. so I'm not super concerned about that. I'm kind of tempted to try something a bit different where we solo it from the left-hand side, but we're going to skip that for the moment. Tapir, is that like a pig, or like a anteater type thing? I don't know what that word even means, but I think it's some sort of animal. Let's have a look at ribbon cable. That would be a good one to attack if we can. I like going left on ribbon cable, I should say. Let me know which way you like to go, if you like to go right or you like to go left. I like to go left. A couple guys in our task force group have shown me the ways of going left, and since I've seen it, I just love going left. You know what? Let's just do that. I'm going to try to flash kill that machine gun, then we'll try to move inside of its range and try to do all sorts of magical awesomeness. I'm going to bring Everspark with the Critter Swarm, because otherwise she's just going to walk off and I'm going to swear at her, and we don't want to swear on YouTube, and that would be bad. So let's get Everspark in there with all of the Critter Swarm. Let's just go. Now, the way that I like to do this, that I've been taught to do this, is just to barrage these rocket launchers. If you guys have a different way of doing it, wouldn't mind hearing it, but my understanding is that just barrage these rocket launchers and you should be good to go. Let's throw one more barrage somewhere about there. And so far we've done, this will be my 4th operation attack, all unboosted. So we are doing good things and saving powder in the process. That way when you get to a super high level, you'll have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of powder. I think that you should be doing unboosted attacks or low boosted attacks until you have at least 500 powder. And why I say that is because I have never had more than, I don't think I've ever had more than like 140 powder at any given time. I think that's my record. It's a pretty pathetic record, but these things happen. So I've always been oh, there goes the flash kill. Remember how I said we were going to flash kill that machine gun? Nope, we're definitely not. So gonna have to throw a shock on all of the things, and then we will slowly and carefully move inside the rocket launchers right about now. Gonna mark that cannon, because by marking the cannon, we're gonna make sure that like we talked about earlier, the Zookas are gonna shoot the things that actually shoot back. And at this point, we should be golden. Now, the only concern is that our Zookas are probably going to walk a little bit too close to those shock launchers. You see how all of a sudden those shock launchers come into play? We're going to throw some critters out there just to clear all of the mines. And please, like I said, if you do this operation attack any differently, I would love to hear it, because this is how I've always done it, and so it doesn't mean it's actually the right way to do it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over into here, and we're going to use a couple smokes to get there. Hopefully not. Uh-oh, those critters are going to be problems. Yep. See those critters? They just drew the ire of those shock the shock launches. So now we have a couple shocks. We should be A-okay. Don't know for certain, but I'd say probably. All we have to do here is clear all of the things, and hopefully we can do that in one shock. It's going to be very close, but now that that's done, we can get away from that boom cannon and just keep our maneuvering, and in the process, we're going to throw a barrage on top of those machine guns, hopefully have enough for a shock by the time we get there, and then we should be all good in the hood. Ooh, it's going to be super close, because we've already used so many shocks, or not shocks, flares I should say, that at this point, we are in a bit of a problem, a bit of a pickle, as they say. There we go, barely got that last shock. Now, Everspark is not doing a great job of clearing mines for us, so we're in a bit of a bad spot. Really about to lose all of the troops. Yep, that was not good, and then I just keep watching my troops burned to death. Now, we could potentially still pull this off, but I really don't think it's going to happen, because we've got basically 0 troops, 0 GBE. Maybe Critter Swarm will save us, but we're down to 33 seconds, and there was just so many mines. Would have been nice to have the cryo bomb there, but I think we're now gonna be sitting at 2 for 4 on the solos, so not awesome. Should have maybe come back in here, got those shields first, because at this point we're just sitting here watching the troops die, and it's not a super fun place to be. But the next person can come in and finish, which is always a bonus. That doesn't necessarily make this attack any less of a failure, though. But on the plus side, there are still 21 attacks left, and all these bases, everyone gets the chance to attack that way, right? And we save some powder. Anyways, on to our next attack and last attack. I'll be back in just one more second. Also, let me know in the comments if you want to see replays of this so you can see where I missed that shock, or if you want to just rewind it on your own or whatever. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, and also, if you're curious which task force all of those things were in, if you want to join, if you're looking for somewhere to play, if you're looking for awesome people. This one, for example, is Triangle 9. It says we're at 25 out of 25, but I believe we have an empty spot right now. Yeah, Marion right here just dropping some intel. So, we do have a spot. This account is going to be doing massive attack. There is going to be boosting requirements, slightly different. Not necessarily huge boosting requirements, depends on the operation. For example, yesterday's operation was done in 20 attacks, and a bunch of them were just setup attacks. Like if you look, I believe that General War, not really boosted. Spooky, not boosted. So a bunch of these attacks were just setup attacks, super simple, keeping the powder. It's just playing every day and all of those sorts of things. Now, let's have a quick look. See which bases we have. You've already seen how I like to do Rogue up the right-hand side, as you probably saw. Someone's already done a pretty darn good job of opening Rogue. Used some Grenadiers at shore, probably. Walked up this path. Got rid of 2 rocket launchers. And then now it's just a matter of burning the core. So I'll leave that for someone else. Titanic, I'm not going anywhere near. You and Rose and Leo can do Titanic on your own. I don't like Titanic. Manticore, I don't mind. I actually might take the advantage of having a chance at it. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 shock Manticore. You almost never see that one. So that's pretty nice. Only 3 shock launchers and a couple of rockets. So that one should be one that I could take out if I wanted to. Just because I'm not very good at Manticore. Javanese, let's have a look. Javanese has been set up. Got rid of some stuff over here. Cleared the cells. Again, doing these things with low boost to try and keep them simple. Rocket launcher was removed from there, and all the mines have been cleared. That way, people don't have to do this big, huge boost. Let's have a look at Green Court. Also, love me some Green Court, but sadly, there's a grappler there, which is less than ideal, because I like to do like the 4 hack on the side. What are we gonna do? Let's have a look at Titanic. Maybe we can do the whole, bow, arm, waist thing. We got 1 shock here, 1 shock here, 3. I don't like Titanic. Let's just do Manticore. I'm gonna do Manticore. Don't need to do a huge boost for this, just because we've already got some GBE. Again, please do let me know if this is how you do Manticore, or you do it a different way. I like to do it the old school way, like super old school, and actually not super old. Like, I wonder if we can do it the super old. If any of you guys have been around for a long time, you'll remember when they used to be like this shock a scorcher and then hit, like you shock a scorcher and then hit with a shock down here. I'm really almost tempted to do that, but that would be a bad idea, I think. There's too many that attack was always one of my favorite attacks for whatever reason. But I think we're going to skip that, and we'll just do standard Manticore. Let's just see here. I think it's something in the neighborhood of six, what are those words? 6 smokes. Let's have a look here. So we're going to do over, back, redo the back, and then into the middle, and then flare the core. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's add a 7th, just cuz. Critter, shock. Should have lots and lots of GBE. So, here goes Manticore. If this is the way you do Manticore, I'd love to hear it. If you do it slightly differently, also would love to hear it. This is just me being old dog, no new tricks, all that sort of stuff, and let's just do Manticore. So, I like to do it in the oldest fashioned way, which is to do super long javelin flares and I like them. I also like doing them because it gives me the opportunity to drop brick super, super late. And now that we're getting somewhere close to there, I'm going to throw my flare all the way back. The game's going to lag a little bit. You see how that little bit of lag? And then we're going to drop Miss Brick. We can gap our smokes a little bit because we can. And then just keep our ladies walking. Now, I always forget exactly where they're going to go, but I have to assume that whoever went before me probably cleared all of the mines that I need cleared. Because if they didn't, I'm going to have a bad, bad time being careful to watch that flare there. 1, 2, and then we're going to come right into here. Hopefully not losing the delay with Miss Brick. I think my flare is slightly off to one side, but I think we should still be okay. 1, 2, 3, and more critters. And hopefully that's good enough to take it down. It's going to be super tight. That was not well executed as well, but maybe you saw something you haven't seen before. Maybe you have tips for me. I think my flare was slightly too far to the right. I think I need to be more towards the front left corner, or the front right corner of that statue. Anyways, that is 5 operation attacks from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If there was a base that you were shouting at your phone saying, please attack that one, I would love to hear it. If you say the word quay or key differently than I do, also would love to hear it. And if you have any requests for next Operation Attack video, I'm going to try to do these every week because they seem to be positive. People mention they've learned a couple things, that they enjoy them, that they're fun, all that jazz, and all that jazz. Hey. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm zmot. This was 5 Operation Attacks in approximately 26 minutes. As always, thanks for coming in. Hit me up in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, click the bell, all that fun YouTubey stuff, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. Peace!